The rest of the acts of Rehoboam, and all that he did first and last, are they not written in the book of Shemaiah the prophet, and of Iddo the seer concerning genealogies? Moreover, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? Rehoboam was 41 years old when he became king, and he reigned from 930 BC to 913 BC, 17 years in Jerusalem, the city that the Lord had chosen out of all the tribes of Israel to put his name there. Rehoboam did evil because he did not prepare his heart to seek the Lord. There were wars between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all their days. Rehoboam rested with his fathers, and he was buried in the city of David. Then Abijah or Abijam, his son, reigned in his place. In the 18th year of King Jeroboam, 912 BC, who reigned over Israel, Abijah became king over Judah. He reigned from 913 BC to 910 BC, 3 years in Jerusalem. He walked in all the sins of his father Rehoboam, which he had done before him. His heart was not loyal to the Lord his God, as was the heart of his father David. Nevertheless, for David's sake, the Lord God gave him a lamp in Jerusalem by setting up his son after him, and by establishing Jerusalem, because David did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, and had not turned aside from anything that he commanded him all the days of his life, except in the matter of Uriah the Hittite. Abijah stood on Mount Zimri, which is in the mountains of Ephraim, and said, Hear me, Jeroboam and all Israel, should you not know that the Lord God of Israel gave the dominion over Israel to David forever, to him and his sons, by a covenant of salt? Yet Jeroboam the servant of Solomon the son of David rose up and rebelled against his Lord. Then worthless rogues gathered to him, and strengthened themselves against Rehoboam the son of Solomon, when Rehoboam was young and inexperienced and could not withstand them. Now you think to withstand the kingdom of the Lord, which is in the hand of the sons of David, and you are a great multitude, and with you are the gold calves, which Jeroboam made for you as gods. Have you not cast out the priests of the Lord, the sons of Aaron, and the Levites, and made for yourselves priests, like the peoples of other lands, so that whoever comes to consecrate himself with a young bull and 7 rams may be a priest of things that are not gods? Therefore, as for us, the Lord is our God, and we have not forsaken him, and the priests who minister to the Lord are the sons of Aaron, and the Levites attend to their duties. And they burn to the Lord every morning and every evening, for we keep the command of the Lord our God, but you have forsaken him. Now look, God himself is with us as our head, and his priests with sounding trumpets to sound the alarm against you. O children of Israel, do not fight against the Lord God of your fathers, for you will not prosper. There was war between Abijah and Jeroboam. Jeroboam caused an ambush to go around behind them, so they were in front of Judah, and the ambush was behind them. And when Judah looked around, to their surprise the battle line was at both front and rear, and they cried out to the Lord, and the priests sounded the trumpets. Then the men of Judah gave a shout, and as the men of Judah shouted, it happened that God struck Jeroboam and all Israel before Abijah and Judah. And the children of Israel fled before Judah, and God delivered them into their hand. Then Abijah and his people struck them with a great slaughter, so 500,000 choice men of Israel fell slain. Thus, the children of Israel were subdued at that time, and the children of Judah prevailed, because they relied on the Lord God of their fathers. Abijah pursued Jeroboam and took cities from him, Bethel with its villages, Shinnah with its villages, and Ephraim, sometimes called Ephron, with its villages. Therefore, Jeroboam did not recover strength again in the days of Abijah, the Lord struck him, and he died. Now the rest of the acts of Jeroboam, how he made war, how he reigned, indeed they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. The period that Jeroboam reigned was 22 years. He reigned from 930 BC to 908 BC. Then he rested with his fathers. Next, Nadab his son reigned in his place. Abijah grew mighty, married 14 wives, and begot 22 sons and 16 daughters. Now the rest of the acts of Abijah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? and his sayings are written in the annals of the prophet Iddo. Then he rested with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David. Next Asa, his son, reigned in his place. In his days, the land was quiet for 10 years. In the 20th year of Jeroboam king of Israel, Asa became king over Judah. He reigned 41 years in Jerusalem. His grandmother's name was Maachah, the granddaughter of Abishalom. Asa did what was good and right in the eyes of the Lord, as did his father David. He banished the perverted persons from the land, removed all the idols and altars of the foreign gods and the high places, and broke down the wooden images that his fathers had made. He commanded Judah to seek the Lord God of their fathers, and to observe the law and the commandment. He also removed the high places and the incense altars from all the cities of Judah. In addition, he removed Maachah his grandmother from being queen mother, because she had made an obscene image of Asherah. Asa cut down her obscene image and burned it by the brook Kidron, and the kingdom was quiet under him. Asa built fortified cities in Judah, for the land had rest. He had no war in those years because the Lord had given him rest. So he said to Judah, "Let us build cities and make walls around them, and towers, gates, and bars, while the land is yet before us, because we have sought the Lord our God. We have sought him, and he has given us rest on every side." So they built and prospered. Asa had an army of 300,000 from Judah who carried shields and spears, and from Benjamin 280,000 men who carried shields and drew bows. All these were mighty men of valor. Then Zerah, the Ethiopian, came out against them with an army of 1,000,000 men and 300 chariots, and he came to Mareshah. And Asa went out against him, and they set the troops in battle array in the valley of Jephthah at Mareshah. Then Asa cried out to the Lord his God, and said, "Lord, it is nothing for you to help, whether with many or with those who have no power. Help us, O Lord our God, for we rest on you, and in your name, we go against this multitude. O Lord, you are our God, do not let man prevail against you." Therefore, the Lord struck the Ethiopians before Asa and Judah, and the Ethiopians fled. Then Asa and the people, who were with him, pursued them to Gerar. So the Ethiopians were overthrown, and they could not recover, for they were broken before the Lord and his army. Moreover, Judah carried away very much spoil. Then they defeated all the cities around Gerar, for the fear of the Lord came upon them, and they plundered all the cities, for there was exceedingly much spoil in them. They also attacked the livestock enclosures, carried off sheep and camels in abundance, and returned to Jerusalem. Now the Spirit of God came upon Azariah the son of Oded. He went out to meet Asa, and said to him, "Hear me, Asa, and all Judah and Benjamin. The Lord is with you while you are with him. If you seek him, he will be found by you, but if you forsake him, he will forsake you. For a long time Israel has been without the true God, without a teaching priest, and without law, but when in their trouble they turned to the Lord God of Israel, and sought him, he was found by them. Moreover, in those times, there was no peace to the one who went out, or to the one who came in, but great turmoil was on all the inhabitants of the lands. Therefore, nation was destroyed by nation, and city by city, for God troubled them with every adversity. But you, be strong and do not let your hands be weak, for your work will be rewarded." When Asa heard these words and the prophecy of Oded the prophet, he took courage, and removed the abominable idols from all the land of Judah and Benjamin and from the cities, which he had taken in the mountains of Ephraim, and he restored the altar of the Lord that was before the vestibule of the Lord. Then he gathered all Judah and Benjamin, and those who dwelt with them from Ephraim, Manasseh and Simeon, for they came over to him in great numbers from Israel when they saw that the Lord his God was with him. So they gathered at Jerusalem in the 3rd month, in the 15th year of the reign of Asa, and offered to the Lord at that time 700 bulls and 7,000 sheep from the spoil they had brought. They entered into a covenant to seek the Lord God of their fathers with all their heart and with all their soul, and whoever would not seek the Lord God of Israel was to be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman. Then they took an oath before the Lord with a loud voice, with shouting, and trumpets and ram's horns. And all Judah rejoiced at the oath, for they had sworn with all their heart and sought him with all their soul, and he was found by them, and the Lord gave them rest all around. Still, the high places were not removed from Israel. Nevertheless, Asa's heart was loyal to the Lord all his days. He brought into the house of the Lord the things, which his father had dedicated, and the things, which he himself had dedicated, silver, gold, and utensils. And there was no war until the 35th year of the reign of Asa. Nadab the son of Jeroboam became king over Israel in the 2nd year of Asa king of Judah, and he reigned over Israel 2 years. Nadab reigned from 910 to 909 BC, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord, and walked in the way of his father, and in his sin by which he had made Israel sin. Then Baasha the son of Abijah, of the house of Issachar, conspired against him. And Baasha killed him at Gibbethon, which belonged to the Philistines, while Nadab and all Israel laid siege to Gibbethon. Baasha killed him in the 3rd year of Asa king of Judah, and reigned in his place. And it was so, when he became king, that he killed all the house of Jeroboam. He did not leave to Jeroboam anyone that breathed, until he had destroyed him, according to the word of the Lord which he had spoken by his servant Ahijah the Shilonite, because of the sins of Jeroboam, which he had sinned and by which he had made Israel sin, because of his provocation with which he had provoked the Lord God of Israel to anger. The rest of the acts of Nadab, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel all their days? In the 3rd year of Asa king of Judah, Baasha the son of Ahijah became king over all Israel in Tirzah, and reigned 24 years. Baasha reigned from 909 to 886 BC. Now there was war between Asa and Baasha king of Israel all their days. In the 36th year of the reign of Asa, Baasha king of Israel came up against Judah, and built Ramah, that he might let none go out or come in to Asa king of Judah. Then Asa took all the silver and gold that was left in the treasuries of the house of the Lord and the treasuries of the king's house, and delivered them into the hand of his servants. King Asa sent his servants to Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, who dwelt in Damascus, saying, Let there be a treaty between you and me, as there was between my father and your father. See, I have sent you a present of silver and gold. Come and break your treaty with Baasha king of Israel, so that he will withdraw from me. So Ben-Hadad heeded King Asa, and sent the captains of his armies against the cities of Israel. He attacked Ijon, Dan, Abel Beth-maim, Maachah, and all Chinneroth, with all the storage cities of the land of Naphtali. Now it happened, when Baasha heard it, that he stopped building Ramah, ceased his work, and remained in Tirzah. Then King Asa made a proclamation throughout all Judah, none was exempted. And they took away the stones and timber of Ramah, which Baasha had used for building, and with them, King Asa built Geba of Benjamin, and Mizpah. Baasha did evil in the sight of the Lord, and walked in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin by which he had made Israel sin. The word of the Lord came to Jehu the prophet, the son of Hanani. Jehu, the son of Hanani, is not to be confused with Jehu, the son of Jehoshaphat, the king of Israel, to whom we will meet later on our journey. The word of the Lord came to Jehu against Baasha, saying, Inasmuch as I lifted you out of the dust and made you ruler over my people Israel, and you have walked in the way of Jeroboam, and have made my people Israel sin, to provoke me to anger with their sins, surely I will take away the posterity of Baasha and the posterity of his house, and I will make your house like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. The dogs will eat whoever belongs to Baasha and dies in the city, and the birds of the air will eat whoever dies in the fields. The rest of the acts of Baasha, what he did, and his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? Then Baasha rested with his fathers, and he was buried in Tirzah. And Elah his son reigned in his place. Also, the word of the Lord came by the prophet Jehu, the son of Hanani, against Baasha and his house, because of all the evil that he did in the sight of the Lord, in provoking him to anger with the work of his hands, in being like the house of Jeroboam, and because he killed them. Now at that time Hanani the seer came to Asa king of Judah and said to him, Because you have relied on the king of Syria, and have not relied on the Lord your God, therefore the army of the king of Syria has escaped from your hand. Were the Ethiopians and the Lubim not a huge army with very many chariots and horsemen? Yet, because you relied on the Lord, he delivered them into your hand. For the eyes of the Lord run to and from throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong on behalf of those whose heart is loyal to him. In this you have done foolishly, so from now on you will have wars. So Asa was angry with the seer, and put him in prison, for he was enraged at him because of this. And Asa oppressed some of the people at that time. The mistake that Asa made was not inquiring of the Lord or relying on his strength, concerning Baasha. It was a big mistake to have called on the king of Syria for help. The Lord was Asa's help. This meant that Asa did not truly trust in the Lord. When Azariah went out to meet Asa, he told him that the Lord was with him, while he was with him. If Asa would seek the Lord, he would be found by him. However, when he asked Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria for help, he at that time forsook the Lord God of Israel. Asa looked to Syria instead of looking to the Lord, that he may show himself strong on behalf of Judah. The acts of Asa first and last, are indeed written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. In the 39th year of his reign, Asa became diseased in his feet, and his malady was severe, yet in his disease he did not seek the Lord, but the physicians. Then Asa rested with his fathers, he died in the 41st year of his reign. Asa reigned from 910 to 870 BC. They buried him in his own tomb, which he had made for himself in the city of David, and they laid him in the bed, which was filled with spices and various ingredients prepared in a mixture of ointments. They made a very great burning for him. Then Jehoshaphat, his son, reigned in his place. After the death of Baasha, his son Elah reigned in his place. In the 26th year of Asa king of Judah, Elah the son of Baasha became king over Israel, and reigned 2 years in Tirzah. His servant Zimri, commander of half his chariots, conspired against him as he was in Tirzah drinking himself drunk in the house of Arza, the steward of his house in Tirzah. And Zimri went in and struck him and killed him in the 27th year of Asa king of Judah, and reigned in his place. It happened, when Zimri began his reign, as soon as he was seated on his throne, that he killed all the household of Baasha, he did not leave him one male, neither of his relatives nor of his friends. Thus Zimri destroyed all the household of Baasha, according to the word of the Lord, which he spoke against Baasha by Jehu the prophet, for all the sins of Baasha and the sins of Elah his son, by which they had sinned and by which they had made Israel sin, in provoking the Lord God of Israel to anger with their idols. Now the rest of the acts of Elah, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? In the 27th year of Asa king of Judah, Zimri had reigned in Tirzah 7 days. And the people were encamped against Gibbethon, which belonged to the Philistines. The people who were encamped heard it said, Zimri has conspired and also has killed the king. Therefore, all Israel made Omri, the commander of the army, king over Israel that day in the camp. Then Omri and all Israel with him went up from Gibbethon, and they besieged Tirzah. And it happened, when Zimri saw that the city was taken, that he went into the citadel of the king's house and burned the king's house down upon himself with fire, and died, because of the sins which he had committed in doing evil in the sight of the Lord, in walking in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin which he had committed to make Israel sin. Zimri reigned in Israel only 7 days, in the year 885 BC. The rest of the acts of Zimri, and the treason he committed, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? The people of Israel were divided into 2 parts, half of the people followed Tibni the son of Ginnath, to make him king, and half the people followed Omri. However, the people who followed Omri prevailed over the people who followed Tibni the son of Ginnath. Omri accomplished the invasion of Moab, and in an alliance aimed at stopping the westward advance of the rising power of Assyria. The Moabite stone and the Assyrian annals commemorate his exploits. Then Tibni died and Omri reigned. In the 31st year of Asa king of Judah, Omri became king over Israel and reigned 12 years. 6 years Omri reigned in Tirzah. He bought the hill of Samaria from Shemer for 2 talents of silver, then he built on the hill and called the name of the city which he built, Samaria, after the name of Shemer, owner of the hill. Omri did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and did worse than all who were before him. Omri walked in all the ways of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and in his sin by which he had made Israel sin, he provoked the Lord God of Israel to anger with their idols. The rest of the acts of Omri, which he did, and the might that he showed, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel? Omri reigned in Israel 12 years from 885 to 874 BC. So Omri rested with his fathers, and he was buried in Samaria. Then Ahab his son reigned in his place. Thank you for listening. If this video was a blessing to you, please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.